What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Point After Podcast. I am your host, Caleb, and I'm always with my guy, Jacob. My man, how was this day treating you, bro?
Bro, today sucks, bro. For Kyle Shanahan could go kick rocks. The Niners are complete and utter ass. Brandon Allen, please go pick up the clipboard again and don't ever touch the football field ever again. Josh Dobbs, I need you to come in and be some type of savior if Brock Purdy's shoulder can't get it together. Brock Purdy, Caleb, we're just gonna get straight into this.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Nah.
Bro is on demon time. All right, bro. What's up?
Right. I hate it here, bro. Like this team is like literal dog shit. Like without Nick Bosa as well, this D line has nothing to show for it. Like there's no open way to get to the quarterback. Josh Jacobs was absolutely torching our defense. Shout out Josh Jacobs.
Miss Josh, man.
Josh Jacobs is an absolute dog. I don't know why you guys let him go. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he's still a good back. He's still very young as well. I don't know if you noticed that, but like I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like you guys got your problems yourselves, but we might as well just tank. I think we might as well just tank. I mean, we're looking at like a top 16, 17 pick right now. Tank. Because clearly at this point, and I know we don't have Charvarius Ward. I know he's dealing with, his daughter. He could take condolences. He could take off as many weeks as he wants. All I know is the Niners secondary is a real big problem. Yasin, Yidem are a huge problem. I say Renardo Green is like the only one with upside, but even he's gonna have rookie mistakes, Lenore? Which he has. No, Lenore's a dog, but I think he got hurt earlier today. I don't know if he went back in. I was off and on with that game. I was just monitoring the score. I was like,
this is going through pain right now, man.
Bro, complete.
Welcome
complete
to the misery side, baby.
You know what? This is gonna transition in the first topic. I actually got a question. Is Brock Purdy a franchise quarterback?
Oh, you're gonna give me this? Oh man, I feel like this is for you. But speaking of which,
because I actually want to get your point of view, and then I want to counteract, or I just want to agree. But we're gonna see. Go ahead.
Look, is Brock Purdy a franchise quarterback? This is how I value Brock Purdy. I value Brock Purdy in the Dak Prescott to a type of a lower bracket. I think Brock Purdy is good. I don't view him as the elite as the elite. I don't think he's that guy. I don't think physically he has enough. I just don't think he's that kind of quarterback. I think he's better than Jimmy G, no question.
Sure.
But when I look at Brock Purdy, he's clearly a guy that has to have stuff around him for him to succeed. Mm-hmm. And right now, this Niners team overall, due to injuries, whatever you want to say, it's just not there for them right now. Christian McCaffrey, I think, we know Christian McCaffrey. He's one of the best players in football, but he's coming off an Achilles. He's coming off an Achilles thing.
He's not looking explosive, and this is stupidity on Kyle Shanahan because why are you giving CMC 99% of the snaps? Where's Jordan Mason? Where's even Isaac Guerrero? Where's both of them? Bro. Can you learn from the Detroit Lions? Look at the Detroit Lions offense. Look how they use their running backs. It is as a tandem, and they switch up on series. They get a healthy amount of carries, and they use them well, clearly. And Kyle Shanahan, as soon as he gets CMC back, like you said, from an Achilles injury, averaging like 3.8 yards per carry to start off, and you still won't switch it up with their other running backs. Full-on problem. They don't have it right now. And that's why I think, like you said, I'm going to agree with you on this, by the way. Brock Purdy isn't a franchise quarterback. He's good. I'm not going to deny his – I'm not going to deny –
bro.
No, I'm not going to deny how good he is, though. He can make solid throws. His mobility is a full-on asset. He can make reads. He's good off schedule. But at the end of the day, compare him to an elite quarterback. Is he going to sit back in the pocket and give you one for 30, 40 with a flick of a wrist? Not at all. And there's dire times in games where teams need that, and the quarterback needs to carry the team on their back. It's simply how it goes, especially in crunch time and in playoff time. And in my opinion, Brock Purdy is not somebody who can go toe-to-toe. Like if he comes back next week, this is a beautiful example against a guy like Josh Allen. It's not going to be toe-to-toe. at all. It's gonna be very one-sided, especially if Nick Bosa's out as well. Josh Allen's gonna torch that Niners defense. But I digress. Brock Purdy's good. He's not elite, which happens to be, in my opinion, not a franchise quarterback. If you tend to give him too much money, your team around him will suffer from that, and you'll see the limitations that he proceeds, you know?
Yeah, we can't forget, man. Like Brock Purdy, 7th-round pick. Like we can't.
His ceiling's not even bad. Like that's what I mean. Like he's a last round pick. This was not expected of Brock Purdy. We're just saying what his ceiling is. Good, just not elite, which is nothing wrong with that. This is true.
Yeah. So shout out to 95.7 The Game radio show. I watched their stuff on YouTube in the morning. They had this basic similar discussion. They're talking about Brock Purdy. What is he going to be worth? When it comes time for that extension. I look at Brock Purdy as a $30 to $40 million quarterback. 56, he's absolutely not. Like that's not his range.
Honestly, brother, I was gonna say 25 to 30 million. Keep him in that bracket because it's like what pieces are you gonna have around him that's gonna help him? I mean, Debo still can't get open. He's over here dropping every single pass given to him.
Debo, bro, what happened, bro?
And it's like we still don't know about Slick Rick. The jury's still out on him, but I feel like
George Kittle's the guy, though. He's the guy.
No. George Kittle has been, along with Juwan Jennings, has been the MVPs of the Niners this year, carrying that offense simply. But at the end of the day, if you give Brock Purdy a lot of money, the Niners will suffer, and this is a problem. I mean, I'd rather just you hedge your bets. You
go get Daniel Jones. Hey, we're gonna talk about him later, but hey, I had to throw that out there. Look, my last little point on Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy really excelled. Like his game took a real leap when McCaffrey came in, because McCaffrey, what he brings to the table, right? It completely opened up this offense. McCaffrey as a runner, McCaffrey as a pass catcher. It opened up a lot of things, even for Ayuk. We saw George Kittle. We talk about Juwan Jennings. I think you're seeing it shortly, but the fact that McCaffrey isn't 100%, I think that is affecting Brock Purdy with his checkdowns. And I think, like you said, like when you look at the Niners right now, it's really George Kittle or Juwan Jennings. Like Debo is just not the same player he was. Ayuk was obviously gone for the season. Persaul's a rookie. He's still developing. Jordan Mason is good as a runner.
Kyle just doesn't use him. That's just what it is. You don't give him carries. That's what it is.
How do you feel about Jordan Mason as a pass catcher? Because I'm kind of
as a pass catcher, he is iffy, as you can see in a lot of plays or in a lot of schemes they'll put him in. It's not in a lot of pass plays. It's a lot of pass blocking for him. So I say they're not too confident in that, but just giving him some carries, just giving CMC some rest, giving CMC some time to even just mix it up in general. Something you need to do, and that Kyle Shanahan, I feel like, doesn't take advantage of. When you clearly, like, if I know Jim Harbaugh was back up in here, he would use all these running backs as a tandem. 100%.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Once you pay a quarterback $40 million, you got to figure out how to build that roster around him. So
no, 100%. It's hold on, real quick. It's also a problem, like I said, about Brock Purdy's arm. It's also the reoccurring injuries now. It's like the way and plus, we don't even know what play he got hurt on in that game. There's multiple dives he took, like a hit he took to the arm. A reoccurring arm injury isn't exactly good, and it's your throwing arm, and it's not that strong of an arm. And that's the problem with the Niners offense. I feel like giving him so much money is that their intermediate game and their deep game, non-existent. I don't remember a Niners quarterback who could sling it down the field besides Trey Lance for a few plays. Because Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't doing that shit.
Bro is missing Trey Lance, man. 2024.
Missing Trey Lance is like, when's the last time the Niners had a strong arm quarterback who could push it 60, 70 yards down the field? Kaepernick? Accurate, though? I don't know.
Alex Smith?
Maybe. I don't know if Alex Smith had a strong arm like that. There's a lot of intermediate, but
yeah.
but just to cap it off, man, it's just hard to give Brock Purdy all that money with those limitations because they will cost you in the deepest moments.
So we're agreeing. Brock Purdy's a good quarterback, but he's not the elite of the elite. He's not a franchise guy.
No.
All right, cool. Well, speaking of a franchise guy,
he's a starter.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's solid. Moving on though, to a guy who's a franchise guy in himself, Mr. Joe Burrow. It's less about Joe Burrow, it's more the surrounding parts. This Bengals team, I feel like they're failing Joe Burrow. Jacob, how do you feel about that current situation down
there? Cincinnati is just like, we were used to the slow starts, but looking at how they're not picking it up, it's looking rather concerning. And it's just Joe Burrow's damn near having his best year. Like, this dude is on fire along with his homeboy. Shout out Jamar Chase. But this offense, I mean, just look at it. Burrow with 3,000 yards, first in the league, 27 touchdowns, first in the league, only 4 picks, which is extremely low, and he has the number 1 QBR in the league. And you're telling me this team's like 4-7? It just doesn't make sense, and it's clear that the defense is a problem, and the O-line is still a problem, and Burrow's playing real good in spite of them, along with Chase, who has 73 catches, first in the league, 1,056 yards, first in the league, along with 12 touchdowns, first in the league. He wasn't playing about going up against
Justin Jefferson. That's offensive player of the year type numbers for me right there.
Type numbers, right? And the season's not over yet. So for Bengals to go on some type of run, their defense really needs to chop it up. I mean, they're just terrible. They're one of the lowest in the league at 30th when it comes to total yards. Like, it's a real problem. Joe Burrow, as he's carrying this team, he can't do everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Joe Burrow's been fantastic. Jamar Chase has been fantastic. Everything else surrounding it has not been fantastic. I mean, let's look at this team. I mean, T. Higgins has came back, and he looks like T. Higgins of old. This defense, though, I think one of the more underrated losses for this team was definitely losing DJ Reader, their interior defensive lineman, one of the better run defensive linemen in the NFL. He obviously goes to Detroit, and Detroit is definitely, capitalizing on that. But the fact of the matter is this team can't stop the run. Trey Hendrickson, who's leading the NFL in sacks, he's definitely in the defensive player of the year conversation, but he can't do it all on his own. Cameron Bredd is getting absolutely smoked turkey. It's not even Thanksgiving yet, but that guy's been getting absolutely destroyed out there. And overall, this defense just isn't good. They're not good against the pass. They're not good against the run. And definitely when you look at this team heading into the offseason, because I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, all their draft capital, all free agency, like, they have to focus on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, the offensive line definitely needs some work, but the defense is the number one focus.
Also, the running game as well. They have no, big production out of their running game. So I feel like that's another need to address in free agency or the draft. The draft is a lovely place for running backs. Look at the Niners. They draft all kinds of running backs, undrafted running backs, who you could just start out the blue. So Cincinnati needs to invest into that as well as their offensive line. But defense is absolutely number one. And that secondary, please. Yeah. Get some corners. Please.
Like, the stats say Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have been awesome, but awesome is an understatement. Like, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have been incredible this year. And the fact that right now, Joe Burrow right now is the best quarterback in football. You can make a case Jamar Chase right now is the best wide receiver in football. And the fact that 2 of those guys aren't even going to be in the playoffs, it's a shame. And quite frankly,
horrible.
If I was a Cincinnati franchise, I'd be embarrassed that you're wasting.
Also, do you think it's a – my bad to cut you off. Is it a Zach Taylor problem as well in his play calling?
I think Zach Taylor is a good coach. I think he has to move on from his defensive coordinator. I forget the guy's name, but come playoff time, the Bengals in years past, their defense has been able to create turnovers, can get to the quarterback, when it comes down to it. But really now we're seeing that them really get exposed for what they are. And they're just not good. And even, like I said, I'm blinking on the defensive coordinator's name, but in years past, they've been able to get away with it, like I said, come playoff time. But right now, I just don't see it. I don't think it's a Zach Taylor issue. I just think now he's in a position similar to what Nick Sirianni had to do, is hire the right coordinators. Nick Sirianni, they brought in Kellen Moore to run that offense, and he brought in Vic Fangio to run the defense. I think Zach Taylor has to do that now. He has to get the right coaches around him, because the problem isn't the offense, but the problem is the defense. And they got to figure it out if they want to be a serious contender moving forward after this season.
It'll definitely be interesting moving forward. To be honest, it'll. I can see them making a late run, and here's why. They got what? Wait for it. As you were saying, QB and wide receiver are top dogs this year, right? If they could continue to play like that, you got the Steelers next, who I feel like is a little overrated. Cowboys, we know how crap that is. Cooper Rush, so severely overrated. And then they got the Titans after that. Then they got the Browns. And then the Broncos. And then the Steelers again in the last game. If you can go on a little run there and pull it out 10-7, Caleb, do you think they could pull for a playoff spot? Is it possible?
Now, also, just quick comment.
With Burrow and Chase playing like this, though.
So, quick comment. Defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. I had to make sure I got that right. Look, this offense is going to put up points, but there's two sides of the football field. There's scoring, and then there's prevent people from scoring. The Bengals can't even stop a Colt. I mean, let's just be real here. And I just don't have faith in this team, for this defense to flip the switch like that. I just don't think they have it. And it's like I said, in years past, they've been able to get around it, but you started to see that really the tail end of last season with this defense start to fall off, and it's completely continued into this season. They have to fix it, and I get it. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki's playing well, but this defense is too bad for me to have any faith. I left out. I tried to leave out faith. What was it against the Chargers? Chargers, last straw for me. I'm sorry. Last straw for me.
I guess the last straw, but I digress. So let's move on and talk about somebody I don't really care about, but we're going to talk about him. Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes, baby.
Has been cut. I don't know about Dimes, but Daniel Jones has been cut. Fired. You're fired from the New York Giants. It's about damn time. I've been waiting on this for actually a very long time. And then Caleb, before the show, just wants to talk about how he's a Niners candidate, which I heard he's in rumors, which I think is a horrible, horrible mistake. You have Dobbs. I'd rather just go with Dobbs. He's more mobile.
Daniel Jones is better
off script. I like it a lot better. Stop acting like Daniel Jones is accurate. The QBR this year.
He led the Giants to the playoffs.
20.
Don't forget about that.
Okay. So 20.
Of course, you're gonna say Quan. Of course, you're gonna say Quan, bro.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was about to say. You better check yourself before I really get quit. Because in 2020, let's look at the years that Daniel Jones wasn't so hot. Let's look at 2020 real quick. 2,900 yards, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Oh, wow. 2021, 2,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Oh. Well, how about that? And then in his best year, 3,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, all having better first seasons than this guy ever had. I'm sorry. It's just Daniel Jones is a good backup quarterback somewhere. Mm-hmm. To start, it's just not an option. He doesn't lead the team anywhere unless all the chips are stacked around him. Kind of like a Jimmy Garoppolo. He reminds me a lot of very Jimmy Garoppolo. Just very inconsistent.
He's way more mobile than Jimmy, bro. Daniel Jones is a mobile quarterback, bro. Bro, I'm not capping. I'm serious, bro. Look at the numbers, bro. Daniel Jones can run. He can run. He's a mobile quarterback. Look,
all right,
bro. I know you're shocked, but look.
All right.
I think this is more on the Giants.
No, the Giants organization is like
they feel. I think they put way too much expectations on Daniel Jones. I think moving on from Saquon, which is going to go down as one of the all-time, literally mistakes any sports franchise ever makes in any type of moment ever.
The year he's having? Oh, yeah.
I just think the Giants, they put so much on Daniel Jones' plate for him to be the savior, and this team could be better without Saquon or could be similar, wins, losses wise. But this Giants team just didn't do a great job of surrounding him with the greatest of talent. This offensive line, I talked about it earlier in the year, outside of Andrew Thomas, this offensive line probably wouldn't make a junior varsity team. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, the wide receivers, Malik Neighbors, my guy, but he's a rookie. Well, Wendell Robinson, okay. Darius Slayton, okay. I mean, I'm kind of looking at this team. Running back, Tracy, who came on, actually done pretty well for them. The other running back, Singletary, he was good early in the season, but he's kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
And this defense that was playing okay to start the year, that's completely dissipated as well. I just think the structural support around Daniel Jones hasn't been great. Brian Dable, he's on the hot seat, which is a surprise to me, but I think a part of him, I don't know if he wants to even be in New York anymore. It just goes from up top. Daniel Jones, yes, hasn't been great with his overall play, but throughout his tenure there, we can't sit here and lie. He was a quarterback on this team that went to the playoffs throughout his time there. We can't. We're not going to sit here and act like Daniel Jones
carried by Saquon. Say it. Carried by Saquon.
But Daniel Jones made plays. Daniel Jones made plays.
Carried by Saquon. That's like.
All right. Okay.
Jimmy got carried by Mostert. Everyone knows this. Go back to that NFC Championship. That man barely even threw that game. Running backs can carry you.
So let me ask you a question. Who would you rather have, Daniel Jones or Mac Jones?
Mac Jones.
What? Are you serious? Nah, bro. Are you
talking about you're talking about in the Niners system, right?
Any system.
Oh, any system. God, they're both terrible.
Daniel Jones can run, bro. He can create more than Mac Jones. Come on. Mac Jones had one good season. One. Daniel Jones, he's better, bro.
You can't even say I was saying, it's the fact that you can't even say they're good seasons. They're not even good seasons. They're like average.
They're in the same class. They're
average. He's a very average quarterback. He's a backup quarterback, dog. He's not starting on no team. I don't want to hear it no more. Raiders might as well be a candidate. I don't know why the Cowboys are a candidate. That's just straight up. I don't even want to say the word. I don't even want to straight up say the word because it's the R word, and I don't want to say that because we're gonna get demonetized. But the Cowboys are a very stupid franchise for even going after Daniel Jones, thinking it's gonna come up with something. But also, like, okay, where are the possible routes for Daniel Jones here? Let's think it out. Let's think. The Jets. I think that's one.
No, I think if Daniel Jones goes to the Jets, one, he'll be heavily criticized. Number two, I mean, they might. I'm
not saying he's got to go somewhere and start. He's a literal backup, so I'm picturing this as a backup situation. He could go to the Niners. I could foresee that happening.
I think the Niners is, well, outside of this season, you look at the system where they're able to plug and play guys. We've seen with the running back position, but we see Jimmy G come in and have success. Brock Purdy has came in and has had his success at this point as well. I think Daniel Jones in this system will work. I think another one is the Pittsburgh Steelers, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are able to get best out of their quarterbacks. We're seeing Russell Wilson have a resurgence.
I don't know if they would want him, though, considering they already got Fields and
Justin Fields, 100%. I mean, I'm looking at some other teams.
Maybe the Bucks backup. It's a solid backup. I'm thinking of this in a backup situation. I don't I don't see Daniel Jones, at least as of right now, unless it's Dallas. I don't see him going somewhere and starting.
Dude, him on the Cowboys, really that'd be absolute cinema, bro. That'd be insane.
Bro, that'd be ridiculous. I mean, I could see him maybe doing something with CD, but he had Malik Neighbors, so I don't know.
Yeah, man.
It's just a poor thing. Daniel Jones, I hope you find a team. I just hope it's not the 49ers because I will ridicule you. I will ridicule.
We're doing an emergency pod if that happens. Clip it up right here and now. Niners signed Daniel Jones, bro. We are doing a podcast in that moment. Drop it.
All right. That's a deal, I guess. It'd be a terrible day. It'd be a horrible day. I'd be like, this is essentially like moving off from Brock Purdy, and you're gonna.
Daniel Jones is better than Brock Purdy, bro.
All right, relax. Okay. Your takes are starting to get a little ludicrous over here. You're starting to get like Skip. You're starting to get like Skip with the takes.
Don't disrespect me. That's cool. All right, but moving on to some basketball, NBA stuff. Obviously,
got transition.
I've been keeping an eye on the Sixers. Obviously, they had some big expectations coming into the season, bringing in Paul George, PG, to go along with Embiid and Tyrese Maxey to form, which on paper, I felt like the best big three in the NBA. To this point, though, I think we can say it's not worked out, huh? It's not been good. They're
not at all.
They're 3-13 right now in the Eastern Conference. Embiid's only played 4 games. Paul George played in 8. Maxey in 9.
I've done Mr. 4 games. I've done way too much for this city. I've done way too much. I can't.
Go talk. Hold on, talk your shit about Embiid. Go.
Not because why is everyone else out here playing with their heart out? And Paul George, I kind of give a little
hyperextension in the knee twice. It's messed up. It's unfortunate.
It's for me. I just feel like more sorry for Paul George. With Embiid, it's like just a significant issue. You cannot tell me Nikola Jokic is out here year by year, all these games played, and this man's looking like the laziest, slowest mother effer. Like Caleb said, he can't even jump over a goddamn curb. And he's out here carrying this goddamn squad, and then Joel Embiid's crying that he's done everything for the city. When what has he done for the city? Charity? I don't know, because he hasn't put no chips. You got an MVP to your name. What does that do for the city, though? Yeah, I don't know, because you haven't done crap. And Tyrese Maxey out here giving it his all. Shout out Tyrese Maxey, and I know he checked his ass in the locker room. I know you heard about that.
That team meeting was fierce, huh?
Yeah, and I don't blame Tyrese Maxey, because it's like, dude, it's like we're over here, we're trying to make something. We have Paul George, we have this young guy Jared, who's been a great acquisition for the Sixers.
He's balling right now.
Exactly, and imagine if Paul and Embiid were a part of this. And like we already discussed about Paul, but imagine if it was all together, how significantly better they can be. But what do you think's like the main issue with Embiid? Is it the injuries? Is it the drive for the game? What do you think it is?
Shaq said it on TNT a few weeks ago, where like until Embiid wants it, I think there's definitely a part of Embiid where I don't know if he's 100% committed to it. Like and again, he's an amazing player, man.
That's a lot like our next topic as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, look, I'm a big fan of Embiid. I voted for him for MVP last season. When Embiid's right, man, the guy is dominant. Like, there's no denying it. But there's just a part where I question it, man. And then you look at this team. I think when they're healthy, this is still one of the best teams in the East, but they put themselves in such a big hole. And you look at their roster, though, obviously Tyrese, PG, and B, but I like Kyle Lowry off the bench. I like Andre Drummond as a backup center, arguably the best backup center in the game behind Embiid. You look at, they brought in Caleb Martin from the Miami Heat, a solid rotational player. You got Kelly Oubre as well. This is a talented roster when they're all healthy, but they're just not right now. And I'm completely, after watching the Clippers, that experiment the last 4 years, watching how all the Nets, and I know politics were involved as well, but the notion where you can just throw guys together and the collection of guys, we're gonna snap our fingers, we're gonna get it going. That just doesn't work. We've seen it.
It's not the case.
You have to have camaraderie. You have to play with each other, game in and game out. Build that camaraderie, that trust between one another.
The team chemistry.
Exactly. Like you look at if you compare this Warriors roster to the Sixers, you probably would take the Sixers roster over the Warriors. But what the Warriors have done, those guys have been together. They played with each other pretty much consistently. They did lose DeAndre Mellon, that's a tough loss.
But they just add certain little pieces to add, and then it'll flow throughout the offensive defense simply.
Yeah, and look, it's hard to get mad at guys for getting hurt because some of that stuff you can't control. But when it comes to repeated thing, we're missing a lot of games year in, year out. And,
something got to change. Something got to change.
Yeah, it has to change, bro, because
this is a consistent thing with Embiid. This ain't nothing new. But when he is on the court, he's dominant. He's one of the top guys. But you look at it's basically like the opposite with Jokic. He's there, at least he tries to be day in and day out, putting up triple-double numbers consistently. So I don't really like to give Embiid excuses when all these other guys, shout out Wemby as well, who come out here and just do it.
The process, man.
It's a process, but moving on to another guy who's completely lazy as hell, and I think.
Oh man!
Don't act like I'm lying now, Caleb. Don't act like I'm lying. Don't act like I'm lying. That's one thing I don't do. I don't lie.
Who we talking about, bro?
The Pelicans should trade Zion Williamson. And
the Pelicans should trade Zion. That's what we've gone to now. That's what we're doing.
And it's funny too, because I don't even know if you could get anything in a trade for him anymore. Because you look at the concerns. He's barely on the court, even maybe less than Embiid, who we were just talking about. His weight is a significant concern. Like me and Caleb were talking about on Twitter before this. How is a 39-year-old LeBron and an old Steph Curry in such better shape than Zion?
No, that picture was crazy.
Especially with crazy. I think about this too, bro. Like the opportunities and the assets they have. Like you have nutritionists, you have dietitians, like you have these assets of people in your literal organization to get you on track. People who track your body fat. I know they got them crazy machines. And you don't take advantage is crazy to me. And for all these old, it's crazy to call them old now because I don't even consider them old like that. You know what I mean? But old players like LeBron and Curry, for them to stay in this consistent shape, KD, and for them to stay on the top of their game, it shows. The work you put in is the work that's going to show. You know what I mean? And clearly Zion has had these issues, and it's just looking real rough. There's a bunch of hype when he was coming out of college, and it's all of this dissipated, and we're like, where did that guy go? That's my question. Where did that guy go?
Look, so the Pelicans trade Zion. I think we're getting, unfortunately, very close to that decision. I mean, look, the guy's only playing he's played 38 games. You know, if you look at a 5-season sample size, 38 games a year, and look, he missed the entire 21-22 season, and he's missed 6 games this year so far. So it's a little skewed. It's a little skewed as far as the amount of games he's averaged, but there's no question he's missed a lot of games. And look, his weight is a concern. Like you said, that picture they showed on Twitter with Curry and LeBron, that's insane, bro. But a nice tattoo though. The tattoo was cold.
That's just cold, but I mean, no. First of all, screw the tattoo. Get in the gym and throw some shots up. Get in the gym and throw some shots up. Matter of fact, no. Screw the gym and get in there and throw some shots up. Go in the gym, get on the treadmill, Zion. Matter of fact, I know a lot of people don't like the treadmill. Matter of fact, go on a hike.
Go for a walk.
Get some sweat on.
30-minute walk. 30-minute walk.
Fuck a 30-minute walk. Do an hour hike. You got it. Okay? With like double sweaters, get all that sweat. Come on, Zion. I'm trying to see you succeed, but I don't think it's going to be on the Pelicans. But Kayla, I want to ask you real quick before we end the show. Can you get anything for Zion considering teams already know what's up?
Yeah, well, his value is an all-time low because there's no question about the talent and ability, but there's question about your availability. And if your availability is a concern, your value is low because your name starts to look better than the actual play. And like you said, I mean, what are you going to get for Zion? You're not going to get no team is going to want to give you a first-round pick.
Not
They're
now.
not going to really want to give away their start. It's going to be role players and second-round picks. They're going to get for Zion because teams are not going to want to, risk that kind of like just mortgaging their roster and their future on a guy that is incredibly talented but doesn't play. And I think the more disappointing thing about Zion and the Pelicans at this point is that they have really committed to building this roster around him. They brought in CJ McCollum a few years ago, along with Brandon Ingram. They recently brought in DeJounte Murray, which I thought was one of the more underrated trades in the offseason as well. Drafting Herb Jones, they found Jose Alvarado as well. And I know they've had injuries. They've been decimated by injuries. I was watching the game, Pelicans and the Warriors, and the Pelicans made it close. I mean, but they're basically 8 or 9 of their guys. So I get it. They're hit by the injury bug too. But when you look at the entire tenure, you can't really blame the Pelicans. They've really put a roster around him.
I was just gonna add on that. They have waited. Think about how long they've waited for him to you could tell they've waited for him to get it together so they could make a push for the playoffs or make a push for something. But I don't simply can't get it together.
I even forgot about Trey Murphy, one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA. So I think it's kind of similar to the Sixers. If B can get right and they can get right, they'll be good. But will we see it with the Pelicans? If they're going to be healthy, will they get right? It's just hard to put your faith in teams that are injury prone, but also their best player having the major injury concern. So I think the Pelicans at the trade deadline this year might have to make a decision on Zion Williamson. If he's not going to be able to be there consistently, might have to trade their guy.
Hey, they just might have to try to see what any type of compensation they could get. But that's gonna cap off the show, y'all. It's another quick one. No cut and clean for y'all. We don't, we're trying to don't like to do too much. As much cleaner for y'all. So y'all go ahead and like and subscribe, man. We're gonna come back next week with some hot topics. There's just like a lot of hot situations going on right now that I just love to see, man. But Caleb, any last words for the peeps?
Any last words, man? Well, first I want to say, man, I appreciate everybody who tunes in. Don't forget, like Jay said, subscribe, comment, follow. You know what I'm saying? We got to get it going.
Right. And fuck Kyle Shanahan. Well, we got to get right. And I appreciate my boy. Y'all go follow the socials down there, and it's up there, and it's up there, whichever way it is. But we'll catch y'all next time, man.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Happy holidays. We out. Peace.